It is an honor to have been chosen by CCM to present my musical journey with composer Gena Branscombe. CCM is a place filled with fond memories of my education, including that required research class, working with great faculty, a place where I made friendships that I treasure to this day, and a school that sent me into the professional world with skills I have used throughout my career. For all of this, I am thankful. Bringing Back Branscombe, a woman composer lost, now found. One art song, just one art song, transformed my career. Gena Branscombe's setting of Elizabeth Barrett Browning's poem, "How Do I Love Thee? Let Me Count the Ways." I had been contracted to give a Valentine's Day recital and thought this poem, set by a woman, would be the perfect touch. 2 research books about women composers mentioned Miss Branscombe's song cycle, Love in a Life. Settings of 6 of Elizabeth Barrett Browning's poems, Sonnets from the Portuguese. Especially highlighted was the beautiful setting of How Do I Love Thee? Now, join me on my 25-year journey as I explain how and why that one art song propelled me to create something I never thought I would do. Researching, performing, and promoting the life and music of a woman composer. Who was Gena Branscombe? She was born in Picton, Ontario in 1881 and died in New York City in 1977. Indeed, a long life. She was a daughter, woman, wife, mother of 4 daughters, gifted pianist, composer, conductor. She held national office in the women's clubs of the era, including the National Federation of Music Clubs, National League of American Pen Women, Altruza International, Society of American Women Composers, and the General Federation of Women's Clubs, where she organized and conducted a chorus of 1,000 women for their Golden Jubilee Convention. Miss Branscombe gave speeches around the country promoting the performance of American music, and in particular, she advocated for American women composers. From 1934 to 1954, she was the conductor and arts administrator for her own New York City-based women's chorus, the Branscombe Choral. During her lifetime, her music was published by 22 different music publishers, including G. Schirmer, Boozy and Company, Carl Fisher, and Arthur P. Schmidt of Boston. The New York Public Library for the Performing Arts became my second home. In the Special Collections Department, Miss Branscombe's collection of original manuscripts and various published works are held in 27 boxes. She composed 150 art songs, a violin sonata, choral and piano works, orchestral and chamber pieces, and a dramatic oratorio. The Library of Congress. The collections at our country's library are beyond our imaginations. In their archives are all the business papers, letters, and photographs from the Arthur P. Schmidt Music Publisher of Boston. In 1910, Miss Branscombe signed an exclusive contract with Mr. Schmidt. In all those Schmidt files were 2 boxes of Gena's letters to Mr. Schmidt and his employees. I read and transcribed her letters that date from 1910 until the 1950s. They told the details of her composing, networking with major singers of her era, performances, her insecurities, her financial challenges, and the ups and downs of her family life. She came alive in those letters as a woman ahead of her time. By the way, the letters were handwritten, at times hard to decipher, as she wrote in the moment, using dashes, changing the subject, offering her opinions about whatever came to mind. The Library of Congress holds the original and only conductor score of Gena's dramatic oratorio, Pilgrims of Destiny, the story of our pilgrim's journey to America. A prize-winning oratorio, it was performed frequently from the 1920s into the 1940s. Studying the score, I could see how steeped it was in the late German Romantic period with soaring melodies and rich harmonic language. Miss Branscombe's Americana oratorio had to be introduced into the 21st century. My mission was to make that happen. With a colleague, we scanned the score page by page, then entered it into finale, note by note. Late April 2019, a performance was conducted by Dan Ryan, then Director of Choral Activities at Clark University in Worcester, Massachusetts, with his chorus, orchestra, soloists, and a children's chorus. In attendance were Miss Branscombe's two grandsons, a great niece, and the great-granddaughters of the publisher, Arthur P. Schmidt. With the final chords ringing through the auditorium, the audience roar of approval was deafening, and I realized I had brought her into the 21st century. Now, 20 years before that performance of Pilgrims of Destiny, my question was, what of all that music in those 27 boxes? My task, sort through 150 art songs, of which I chose 24 to record with my wonderful collaborator, Martin Hennessy, who recorded 4 of her piano pieces. The CD, Love I Shall Find Thee, Songs of Gena Branscombe, was released on the Albany Records label. Many times in the development of my Gena project, I was surprised by what inspired my creativity to move ahead. With tickets to an off-Broadway one-woman show about suffragette Elizabeth Cady Stanton, I sat in the audience, overwhelmed with the thought that Gena Branscombe's story had to be told in the form of a one-woman show. Life, Love, Song, A Visit with Gena Branscombe was the avenue to her story. To me, she had elegant spunk. She enjoyed afternoon tea with quiet conversations. Her tenacity of self-promotion and networking with everyone set an example for me. She had studied with Engelbert Humperdinck in Berlin and piano with Rudolf Ganz in Chicago and Germany. Her much-needed royalties helped to support the family. The death of her third daughter to the pandemic of 1919, the loss of her husband and fourth daughter were burdens she carried through her life. Inspired, I co-authored the dialogue, chose songs whose texts revealed the depths of Miss Branscombe's story. What came next in my Gena project revealed to me the expanded horizons of what is possible when I opened my heart to the gift and the mission to which I was being led. With my colleague, Dan Ryan, you will recall he conducted the score of Pilgrims of Destiny. Dan suggested we co-found the Gena Branscombe Project. Discussion of our mission, our activities, and financial matters followed. Dan's first idea was to fundraise and award yearly scholarships to an emerging, up-and-coming student arts administrator, conductor, and composer. We honor Miss Branscombe's strong belief in education opening doors of opportunity for young people. 2024 marks the 5th year we have offered these scholarships. Go to the Gena Branscombe Project website. Applications for our scholarships will be open on March 8th, 2025. Our first year Arts Administration winner is a CCM graduate, Sydney Pepper. Sydney serves as an advisor to the Gena Branscombe Project Board. Where is Gena's music now? All of Miss Branscombe's published works are out of print. Presently, we are working with women-owned publishing companies to republish her music and to publish works that are in manuscript. The Gena Branscombe Project has scans of her music. We're happy to share them with anyone upon request. We have created concerts titled Bringing Back Branscombe. Our spring 2023 concert was Bringing Back Branscombe to the Upper West Side, as she and her family lived in that Manhattan neighborhood. In 2022, Dr. Reagan Russell presented her dissertation, Lovin' a Life, The Art Songs of Gena Branscombe. The dissertation is a well-rounded research guide to Branscombe's 150 art songs. Reagan serves on the board of the Gena Branscombe Project. What is most important in my journey with composer Gena Branscombe? I am in awe of a woman who over 100 years ago managed a career in music, a woman whose elegant spunk is an inspiration. I am honored to have brought her back to the 21st century, utilizing my creative talents of singing, acting, writing, and business acumen. New facets to the project emerge, including a young adult book in progress. With colleagues, we are working on an in-depth research and analysis of her humanity. I am thankful to the ever support of the Branscombe family, all my colleagues, neighbors, friends, and my husband who have been and continue to be a part of the Gena Branscombe Project. They motivate me every day to make the music world a better place. When I read Miss Branscombe's 1920 interview for the magazine Musical America, I was inspired to take her message and deliver it to the 21st century. She said, "I believe that a beautiful snatch of melody, even if it happens to be a hymn tune, is a far richer gift to the world than a learned symphony. Music is the most potent force making for spiritual liberation. The musician holds a trust so sacred that he cannot give expression to the more sinister emotions without in some measure betraying it. In my younger years, I reveled in gore, as most beginners in art. Then a deep grief came to me, and I realized that I could take no lasting satisfaction in work which failed to carry the highest possible conception of the destiny of the human race." Thank you.
I send my heart up to